Well, hello, all of my light beings and enchanted mystics. If you have clicked on this video, the universe has blessed you with an opportunity to unite with your soul family. I am known as Kalima, the speaker, the writer, intuitive, spiritual healer, and a conduit for souls that are ready to awaken, or for souls that have awakened the divine within. So I peacefully welcome you to Being the Light podcast, where we vibrate at the 777 frequency always. We dive deep into the spiritual realm, uncover hidden truths, and also we discuss the soul's journey to becoming its authentic self. Being the Light podcast is really an explorative journey to the soul, your cosmic vessel, a journey that is truly filled with many revelations, serendipitous occurrences, and profound insights on the workings of our Creator and the worlds beyond the 3D. So before we get started, I will speak my intentions for today's episode, and then I will pull a card from today's oracle deck, which is the Shaman's Dream Oracle, to get the overall energy for today's episode. I intend to share my spiritual awakening journey and some of the lessons that I learned along my journey, and lessons that I can share with my fellow light beings and enchanted mystics to truly become a beacon of light for others who are on this journey. Now, the card I pulled for today's reading is the Horseman, the Herald of Change. And the number on this card is number 3, resonates with mind, body, and soul alignment. So I think this is a very appropriate card to pull for today's first episode, which is around spiritual awakening and the alignment of mind, body, and spirit. The Horseman. When the Horseman appears, it's an invitation to spread the good news. Everyone already knows the bad news. Your task is to point out the beautiful when others only see the ugly. Note the possible, no matter how implausible it may seem. This does not mean becoming giddy or blindly optimistic, but rather reminding yourself that every storm cloud has a silver lining. Become a herald of the positive. Put away fatalistic attitude, the dire predictions, and the dreadful expectations about the world or about your life. Declare the arrival of a new and better you. Proclaim that you have risen from the realms of the dead, woken from a long, dreadful slumber, and are back on the world stage. The show is on again. The Horseman cautions you not to allow your exuberance to become hollow and trivial. Be sure that there is substance to the news you spread, and you are willing to live up to the expectations you raise. The world will welcome you with open arms as you share an uplifting message. Heed the Horseman when it shows up once, for he bears good news and is announcing a prosperous and peaceful time. When he shows up twice in the same reading, though, use extreme caution. If you heed his warnings, all will turn out. Wow, that was literally the perfect card to pull on the first episode of Being the Light podcast. And just to summarize the meaning of this card, what I gather from this is the Horseman is truly the herald of change. The world has seen destruction, corruption, fear, oppression, abuse, falsehood for quite too often. And what we don't realize is over time, we begin to condition our minds and our hearts to believe in these negative conditions. And the horseman is really encouraging you to step outside of what you see and find the beauty, truly find the beauty in everything. Be the positive voice in your community, in your family, in your friend group, in your relationship. Dare to be different. Everything we see on the news, what we hear in our music, it's all promoting the same message. Do you dare to be different? Do you dare to be the herald of change, the voice of wisdom? Do you dare to be the example, the leader, the empress, the emperor, the king, the queen of your kingdom, of your garden? Do you dare to be your Eden? This card really spoke to me because it's something that many of us, and when I say many of us, I'm referring to light beings, individuals who the divine has favored them with light, with purity. I'm speaking to our family. It is time. It is time to speak up and to stand for justice. I know it's scary. I know having that great amount of pressure placed on your shoulders from birth, knowing that you were here to raise the vibration, energetic frequency of Earth. And it's a very daunting task. I fell a victim to fear and self-doubt, self-pity. I began to feel like I was running in a hamster wheel and not getting anywhere. Throughout my entire life, I have known that I was created for a specific reason, and I have always known that my purpose in society, my community, would be felt, would be seen, and would be heard. But I did not truly believe in myself, and I did not want to have that role because I preferred to be pure. I preferred to be balanced. Having too much power, having power to influence, that comes with a great amount of weight. You have to be the example. You have to practice what you preach. You have to be confident in self. You have to heal your shadow aspects. You have to heal your wounds. And some of them may even be hidden, and you have to dive deep into those wounds to understand who you are. That is what I had to go through. I went through 3 near-death experiences. I had 2 life-threatening surgeries on my intestines. I was diagnosed with Crohn's. 10 years later, I used to have severe anxiety. I went through a terrible breakup, someone who I thought was truly my divine counterpart. I went through a lot of mental agony dealing with imposter syndrome, working for the best companies, but never feeling like I was truly on my peers' levels. I went through the dark nights of the soul. I really did. And I was tested in every way you can think, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And I began to believe that my deepest desires, which is abundance, which is peace, which is love, I began to feel as though maybe I am a dreamer and I have to come down to reality and conform to this society, this world, this matrix. And then it wasn't up until I went through a very hard breakup with someone who I consider my soulmate. We've known each other since college. We had a very deep emotional and spiritual connection, and we were there for each other through some of the worst times in our lives. Then I realized that everyone has an expiration date. When you evolve, you have to continue to evolve. You have to continue to grow. And you realize some people, while they may not be bad souls, and I don't think there's any bad soul, while they may not be the most compatible with you, sometimes you have to let go of the past and embrace the new. And that was what I really needed to go through. I had to embrace me. I had to embrace change. I had to let go of old habits, self-limiting beliefs. I had to forgive. I had to understand why I respond to certain situations. I really went through a very extreme metamorphosis. And even after that, I still did not want to share my voice because I just believe that the divine messages that I receive are so precious to me. I don't want it to be tainted by this world, this universe. But in one of my meditations, it was communicated to me that when you are blessed and when you are favored, yes, you experience the highs of that. You are successful. You are given love and access to things that most people cannot experience or even dream of, but it also comes with the responsibility to lead. You are favored because you were selected to be one of those to lead, to show others the way. I am tired of running from that calling, and I want you to stop running from that calling. Light beings everywhere. This is our soul family. Let's create a community of us, and let's build on each other's strengths and put coverings over our flaws. Let's show the low vibrational energy, because it really is a spiritual war. It really is, of light and dark. And the truest way of seeing the war between light and dark is to realize that you need both to exist. When you hear dark, you think dark must be expelled. Light does not yield to anything but light. So even with darkness, presence in this world, light will always win. That is the universal law, because it operates at a higher frequency. And the higher the frequency, the closer you are to God, the closer you are to create and to manifest. The closer you are to raising your vibration and raising the universe's vibration, the closer you are to fulfilling his plan. And he's going to reward you because of that. It's all by design. But I am truly at a point in my life where I can't be silent anymore. The world will hear my voice. They will know who Kalima is, and they will know the journey that I have traveled to get here. And I will bring as many people along this path, because it's the most fulfilling path. That, you know what's crazy? I was seeking this path to enlightenment, but I didn't truly know what it would feel like or what it truly was. I was seeking it, and there were certain things that were guiding me towards this path. And then when I received enlightenment, when I began to really dive deep and meditate, this will get me emotional. I was so amazed by what I experienced. I saw God from a different view. I saw God from just a very loving view, and I saw myself in the same light. I'm still aware of my imperfections, but I've learned to be a God to my imperfections, to be kind to my imperfections, to love my imperfections. I am a different person. I see people differently. I smile more. I protect my thoughts. I am more self-aware of how I think. And anytime I hear a negative thought, I counteract that with something positive. I am aware of energy, and I'm aware that everything that you put out from an energetic frequency gets returned to you. So even if someone is being nasty to you, you don't return the same energy. You vibrate higher so that you are always receiving good. That is the way. That is the way to true harmony. That is the way to divine union. That is the way to merging light and dark. That is the way to discovering soul. You be kind to yourself. You honor yourself. You speak highly of yourself. You put yourself in situations that make you feel good. And we all know when a situation makes you feel good, you can't hide that. And if you don't know what makes you feel good, I encourage you to do so. That is your soul's first language, is feeling, because everything is energy. Energy is felt. Energy is experience. There's so many things that can be discussed in just this one episode. And I apologize if I'm bouncing around to different topics, but I just think it's so important that we uplift each other, that we bring the best out of each other. But the only way you can be that is that you have to be the herald of change. And the only way you can be that is by being that to yourself, healing yourself, talking to yourself. I know in society, they tend to, when you see someone talking to themselves, it's perceived as insanity. Well, that's because they don't want you to talk to yourself. They don't want you to be by yourself, because when you are with self, you have access to the keys of the universe. Self is connected to God. They don't want you to be connected or to cultivate that relationship with your creator. They want to pull you away from that connection. So they give you distractions. That is our most authentic way of communicating to our higher selves, is through speech. You got to do it. You just have to do it, and you have to follow the path. And the path, it's not going to make sense at all. When I embarked on my spiritual journey, I was living with my ex. I found out that we just weren't right for each other. I was looking for a job, and I was frightened about potentially ending my relationship, trying to find a new place while I'm in between jobs. So I just said a prayer. I applied for the unit that I wanted, with a den specifically, and I got it. And I went on an interview with a company. Interview went well. Found out I got the job, got a great bonus. Literally, probably 2 weeks before I applied for a new unit. I didn't know what the outcome was going to be like. I was scared as hell. I was extremely scared because I'm very anal when it comes to finances and material aspects. I'm very structured and organized, but everything worked out perfectly. And then from there, that's what started my awakening journey. I started praying more. I started meditating. I started doing tarot reading, intuitive readings. I just dived deep, very deep into self. And I was afraid because I didn't know what I would find, and what I found was so much beauty. And I would love for my fellow light beings, because we are the awakened ones, I would like for all of us to embark on this journey, and for us to stand in camaraderie and support towards one another. None of us are better than the other, but we are here for a purpose. And if I mustered the strength to create a YouTube channel, a podcast channel, to share my most intimate thoughts, desires, beliefs, you can certainly do it as well. But be patient with yourself and understand that everything takes time. And that's what I learned as well. In the later episodes, what we'll do is we'll start to have people call in to share their perspective towards the topic that we'll be discussing that episode. Or if you just want to share any positive affirmations, anything that resonated with you, share your thoughts, your feelings, that's certainly encouraged. But thank you so much for tuning into the Being the Light podcast. Again, I am your host, Kalima. I am here. And I welcome my channel to all of my light beings and enchanted mystics. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, peace, and love.